Hi, my name is Megan Demuth, and my speech is titled Career Realization. As a kid, I wanted to be an actor, an astronaut, a veterinarian, and a teacher. Some of the most common jobs that any kid would want to have. It took me many years to figure out that none of these jobs would actually work out with me. On the day of my first job shadow at a pharmacy at a women's hospital, I realized what career I wanted to pursue. Throughout this day, I realized quite a few things about myself. Most importantly, what major I wanted to do, which was biology, and that I later on wanted to go to pharmacy school. I realized this by attending this job shadow and asking questions to the pharmacist on what this job will entail. Today I will share a day last year that opened my eyes to my future. Never before have I been so nervous to meet people. I knew I wanted to make a good first impression because I was going to spend an entire day with them. I wanted to make a connection with the staff so I can get as much useful information from them as I could. I was not used to this hospital, so when I walked in, I had to go straight to the front desk person and ask them where I was supposed to go. She directed me to a different floor where I had to go talk to another front desk person, and they told me to wait in the waiting room. I sat in a chair in the waiting room for 15 minutes. I sat there nervously while I watched this big wooden door waiting for the pharmacy tech to come and get me. For a while, I thought they'd forgotten me. But finally, after some time, a staff member came and got me and brought me to the pharmacy department. I was then introduced to the staff and told how this day would go about. I was told I would spend an hour at each section of the pharmacy so I could understand how it all works. I first sat with the lead pharmacist and learned how they use the computer to do the work and to double check all their calculations. They would constantly get calls from nurses, so I learned that their job was very fast paced and they needed to work fast in order to not let their patients and nurses wait too long. I then went with a pharmacy tech who was doing her rounds. She went to different floors, adding and making sure that there was enough medicine for the nurses to use for their day. I learned that I would most likely be doing this job right out of college because before you become a pharmacist, you need to work as a pharmacy tech for some time to gain experience. My favorite part was going to the lab and making an IV. In order to go in the lab, I had to get a full gear of protective clothing, like a mask, lab coat, shoe protector, a hairnet, and gloves. Since this is a women's hospital and most of the patients are mothers and babies, I learned what goes into an IV for a baby in the NICU. This was an educational and interesting experience. I learned many things that were related to my possible career choice, and I found that my choice was a lot easier to make now. At the end of the day, here at the pharmacy, I was given final bits of information and met with the final person of the day. I spoke to the head pharmacist about college. I talked with her about the different majors I could major in, including biology, chemistry, and biochem. Later on, I would realize that biology would be the major I finally decided to choose on. I then spoke with the final person, who was a pharmacy student who was working there at the time. She told me that the school is very difficult and that I needed to work very hard in the last year of high school and in my college years. She didn't try to sugarcoat anything. She made sure I knew exactly what I was getting into. Now, as I finish, you can see I experienced an eye-opening day that made me realize what I wanted to do in my future career. I spent a day shadowing at a hospital pharmacy, learning about all the different parts, and talking to pharmacists and pharmacy techs about their job. I learned many things, including what the job would entail and what I needed to do to prepare for it. In one day, I had a realization that would impact the rest of my life. I'm prepared for anything that this choice will bring on me. Thank you.